Hola, SAP developers. Welcome to this session, part of the DevTorfest 2025 integration track. Before we start, I just want to let you know to please feel free to drop us your questions on the chat window, as we'll be monitoring it and we will answer some of your questions there. And we also have a special Q&A section at the end of the presentation. Well, today we have two colleagues of mine, Christian and Milan, who are part of the architecture team behind SAP Build Process Automation. And will talk to us about extensibility with SAP Build and SAP Cloud Application Event Hub. Without any further delay, hola, Christian, Milan, over to you guys.
Thanks, Antonio. And hello, everyone. Let me run you through our agenda for this talk. So first of all, we will discuss what is extensibility, what is the SAP strategy for extensibility, why the strategy looks like this. Then we'll talk about the individual pieces that can help us achieve this strategy, how they come together in order to really achieve reality from this strategy and vision. We will see a demo, and at the end we should have plenty of time for questions. So, clean core. I'm sure that you've seen these two words, or you see them a lot in other sessions as well. This is because this is what's in the core of SAP strategy, and the idea behind this is that when you acquire an SAP solution, obviously you get a lot of value already. But at the same time, you would like to innovate on top of it. You would like to maybe implement something specific for your country or for your business. And how we used to do that, right? Probably if you had an ERP, you would go ES80, open the IDE and start coding within the system itself. Although it seems quite convenient, right? It holds several risks. First of all, you may depend on things that are not actually designed as a contract. So you can reference internal tables, internal function modules. So really, your code is now part of the SAP solution. And when it comes time to upgrade to get the new version of the SAP application, you may get in troubles. So function modules may change, or tables, and then your extensions may break. Or your extensions within the solution can bring new security risks, like unattendedly you can expose more than you wished for, or you can compromise the data. That's why the clean core strategy states, do your extensions side by side, not in the application, in the SAP application itself. Do it side by side. And when you do the extension, rely only on clear contracts that is defined by the exposed APIs and events. Next slide, please, Chris. With that, you kind of mitigate all the risks we mentioned in the previously. So when you take new versions of the SAP software and you have the clean core, then there will be no issues with the upgrade. Because you do not change the application itself, you do not introduce security risk or reduce the resilience of the system, and overall, you make the life of your IT organization much simpler. So, okay, we say we'll keep our core clean. We will build the extension side by side. but where we will run those extensions. And here is where SAP Business Technology Platform, or SBPA, comes into the picture. This is the platform where we can run our solutions, our extensions. But okay, it offers runtimes where we can run the solution, but it also offers a lot of services that takes away a lot of the commodities for which we otherwise need to handle ourselves. What I mean, so for example, in order to build your extension, for example, you need a persistency. And if you have a persistency, you need to care about data backup and restore and things like that. And the beauty is you get those services with all the necessary SLA and functionality from BTP. So things like persistency, document management, connectivity configuration, monitoring, analytics, all this you can get as part of the platform, and it's just services that you use. Okay, so we know where to run our extensions, but how do we build? How do we create those? Before that, actually, okay, so you run your extension, but then you have to connect somehow with the SAP system. And Chris will tell us how you do it.
Yeah, thanks, Milan. This is where actually SAP Cloud Application Event Hub comes into the picture. So what is Cloud Application Event Hub? It's a pre-built event-based integration between all of SAP's cloud systems. And I'm gonna focus here on a few specific words. The first, and to me personally, the most important thing is pre-built. What does this mean? This means that this is a solution that exists already within your landscape, within the landscape as a consumer, that you don't have to manage, that you don't even have to configure. I mean, there's actually no technical configuration required from an admin for connectivity or for credential exchange or for stuff like that. That is all managed by the applications on top of the platform. And that's a huge benefit because this basically gives you this connectivity between your solution and any extensions or any other solutions on top of BTP out of the box already provided for you. Additionally, it also can bridge a lot of the, I would call them traditional integration offerings offered by BTP in the integration suite. That could be Event Mesh, Advanced Event Mesh, or other applications. And as such, SAP Cloud Application Event Hub is a core piece of this clean core strategy and this side-by-side vision, because it simplifies things a lot and it's already available out of the box. And as Milan alluded to just a second ago, okay, I mean, you now have the platform to build extensions or to extend your business. You have the connectivity layer already in place, set up for you and available. How would you build them? You need a tool set. What is this tool set? And this is where SAP Build comes in. It provides a comprehensive set of tools that allow all kinds of extension development. And I want to focus here. I won't go into all of those labels here on the slide, but when we say extensions, this typically means something different for each and every business and different for each and every scenario. Even sometimes you might need a mobile application to enable a sales agent who is on the go to have some access to some customer or partner data, which they need to do their job. In other places, you might need to automate a business process. You might need to orchestrate a few actions between different departments spanning several systems. Maybe you need to automate some sort of interactions using RPA bots. I mean, it's really a very rich portfolio of tools that are available within SAP Build, which allow what we now call fusion development, basically spanning all of this problem space, and so we have tools to address each and every need, I would say. On top of that, we also have a lot of pre-built content available for standard use cases. And so we are part of the SAP Build process automation architecture team. So we'll focus also our demo and the presentation on Build process automation, or SBPA as we call it for short, which is a piece of the overall SAP Build portfolio of tools. So process automation allows you to automate processes and tasks with drag and drop simplicity. We'll see that in a bit in the demo, but again, just to reiterate, it's part of the whole portfolio. It integrates with all of the other tools, and it offers a lot of capabilities already. And on top of that, also comes with a lot of pre-built processes and automations covering standard processes. Okay, so more or less, those are the pieces that we are going to use for this side-by-side extensibility. And maybe Milan, over to you to go through the scenario that we'll see in the demo later.
Yes, so our scenario, we decided to go for the AI HR vertical. So we will extend SuccessFactors, and the scenario is imaginary, but I think it's quite relatable because we've talked about similar things with a lot of our stakeholders. So what we want is to extend the data verification during hiring process. So we can imagine that in a company you may, or depending on your business, you may need to run additional compliance checks, which may need to contact third-party systems or get an additional approval from a user. And all this extensibility logic seems like a very good fit for something that you can build within SBPA. So there you can build a process that can orchestrate the communication with the different systems, and if needed, include users for additional tasks and approvals. So what we need to do is to connect SuccessFactors and SBPA. And what we need to do in order to achieve this, maybe you expect that, okay, now I need to, I don't know, contact my SuccessFactors administrator, ask him to do some complex configuration and so on. Actually, no. We will use so-called formations. And via this, we will achieve the connectivity, and we will actually use two formations. Integration with SAP Build. This is the formation that will allow us to discover APIs and events coming from SuccessFactors. So in SBPA, the modeler will be able to see the APIs and use the APIs and events that come from that particular instance that you're using on SuccessFactors. The other formation that we'll use is eventing between SAP Cloud systems, and through this formation, we will actually allow the events to fall. So if we look at how it looks from the perspective of different personas, first, an BTP admin or an SBPA admin needs to establish the formations that I mentioned. So in the first formation, the integration with SAP Build platform, obviously the systems that we include will be SAP Build, and then we add additional the systems from which we want to browse events. It could be SuccessFactors, S4 HANA Cloud, Concur, whatever systems you have in your landscapes. And then in the second formation, the eventing between SAP Cloud system formation, you have to include SBPA, right? It would be the receiving side. You need to include Event Hub, SAP Cloud Application Event Hub. And then again, you add the different systems from which you want to acquire events. Actually, this is the whole work from admin perspective. It's done per BTP global account, and so basically you leverage this configuration from every sub account that you have. Once you do this, then it's really easy for the modeler. So the modeler persona, maybe, yeah. So the modeler persona, then when he enters the SBPA studio, they would be able to see the events that are exposed by the configure systems. Chris, maybe we can switch to
The next one, this one.
Yes, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, so this is where the modeler comes into the picture, and now our modeler would like starting building processes. But since we established the formations, in these processes we can use the already curated events, right? So we know that the events that we see that are available to us, we know that they will run, right? It's not that we have some static list of all the possible events. No, we have a focused list of the events that are available within our customer landscape. Of course, if you want to issue custom events, so for example, if you have your own CAP application that you would like to send new events, right? So if you're not integrating with an SCPA OB, but you want to extend that and produce your own events, we also have the functionality to upload this directly into the system. Chris, maybe we can go back to the screenshots of the configuration, just a glimpse. Thanks. How the configuration looks into the BTP cockpit. So, as I mentioned, in the SAP Build formation, where you have the SAP Build system type and SAP SuccessFactors system type. This is the part that is important for our design time, for the discovery of the events. And then on the runtime side, the formation is eventing between SAP Cloud systems. And there in our demo, we integrate SBPA with SuccessFactors through SAP Cloud Application Event Hub. And the last screenshot is how the configuration within SAP Cloud Event Hub looks like. I don't even like the word configuration there, because the only actual configuration that we are doing is just kind of a gatekeeping. We just enable or disable certain scenarios that are established through that formation that we've established. And yeah, we can go ahead, Chris. And yeah, for the modeler, as I mentioned, it's important that what we discover here, really, we are sure that it is available for us. And it's pretty easy to navigate through the available systems that we have and through the events or APIs that they expose. And the final thing that is going to happen is the events will start flowing. So once we establish the formation and once we enabled this scenario within Event Hub, SBPA will start receiving events that are emitted from SuccessFactors through Event Hub. I think enough dry talk, right?
Yeah. Give me a second to switch to my browser. And we'll be able to see everything that Milan just mentioned. Oh, you should be, okay. You should be able to see my browser. This is actually the global account that we'll be using for the demo. The important thing here is to note the formations here. As Milan mentioned, and as we saw in the screenshots on the slides, we have two main formation types. One is integration with SAP Build, and this basically, this declarative thing, basically saying the customer intent, and this would be allowing, so to say, Build to discover integration content from the systems included in this formation. This basically means expose what events and APIs and other integration artifacts are available from the system to Build so that they can be leveraged and used in integration scenarios, in extensions. That's one thing. And as Milan mentioned, the runtime side of things is the actual event flow between the systems. Again, I completely agree here with the word configuration being a little bit exaggerated, because creating this formation is following wizard, selecting a few checkboxes which systems to include, and clicking finish. I mean, that's all the configuration that is required to enable events to flow between all of the systems which you select here. And if we go to the backbone of this integration, the pre-built cloud application event hub, this is how it looks like. This was the last screenshot where we saw from the admin persona. Actually, if I go back here for a second, these formations are one-time activities. They can be done during account setup, and they could be probably extended in the future with additional systems as they become available. This is a one-time thing and can easily be automated. Then in Event Hub, now the admin has continuous control over what event flow is actually allowed. And what can be seen here is all of the so-called subscriptions, or these are all of the so-called communications that have been declared by one system or another. And we see here on the publisher side of things, we have SuccessFactors here, and we have on the subscriber or consumer system side, we see integration suite, we see SAP Build process automation, or any other system. And here the admin is in full control. What this means is that those events can be enabled or disabled at any point in time. And the enabled switch that Milan mentioned is this here. I'm not sure if you see it here. This is all it takes to actually enable events as configured for this specific integration scenario from SuccessFactors to integration suite for the listed event types here. This is all it takes to enable them to go from one system to the other. So this is the admin persona. I mean, we have control here. We have a list. We also have a good overview of all of the integrations and all the event flow that is happening between our systems. And again, just to further reiterate this, the admin is always in control. But that's it from the development persona. If I go back here to my list of systems, I'll now switch into the actual developer persona, and imagine that I'll be the one actually creating this extension to my onboarding process. So here we have two options. When we set side-by-side extensibility in the beginning of the presentation, we truly went side by side, and you can start this extensibility journey from basically from either side of the systems. So imagine now I'm in the persona of somebody closer to the business, closer to the onboarding process. I want to extend my onboarding process. So when I collect all the required data for a new employee, to trigger some additional offline verification. What I need to do, I'm in SuccessFactors, and I'll just switch to this view where I'm shown all of the extensions. This is a test system, so we have quite a few of those. But all it takes for me to create a new one is click here, create extension. This opens the Build extensibility wizard. And we see here the available options. In this case, what is enabled on the system for the sake of the demo is to create a custom process based on an event coming from our system. As you can see, it's quite a simple wizard. I select business event, and I'm now presented of all of the events which are available specifically on my system, on this tenant. For the sake of the demo, I'll choose onboarding, and then I'll search for personal data collection. So we have personal data collection completed. I want to trigger verification, so I need to have the collection already completed. I'm clicking next again. I'll just create an extension in here. Let's call it DevTober demo. This is a quick summary of what I just selected throughout the wizard. Also, I have the option to edit something if I made a mistake. When I click create, this is automatically created all the required integration artifacts in SAP Build in all the necessary tooling. In this case, this is in Build Process Automation. It will be ready in a second, and I'll be able to navigate directly to take a look at what was generated for me. Okay, so I'm clicking this open extension SAP Build. This now forwards me to my build system. And as soon as it loads, we'll see what I received here. So it's actually quite a few steps already automated for me. Let me close those notifications here. So what we see here, we see our project that we created called DevTober demo. We see a few artifacts inside here. We see a process named also DevTober demo being created. And if I click on this process to open it, we see here that this process already has a trigger attached, meaning a starting point, which is already linked to the personal data collection completed event. And if I go here to the process inputs, we already see the data that is attached to the event being available here within the process so that I can use as I need. Now, for the sake of time, I won't go into modeling a complex process. I'll just add here some sort of task. Let's say approval. Doesn't really matter. Approve. So verify data and approve. Please verify data for, and we can again use here the process data coming from the event for person ID for the new user ID, let's say. Okay. And I'll just assign this to the person who started the process. I'll quickly save just so that I can show you the next steps. What are the next steps? Imagine that I have done all the modeling that I want to do here. The next step is simply to release this project. Everything that I model here is versioned together. It's now released. And the next step, we see here the process, we see here the form. We see here also the trigger. We see the dependency to the event here. And the next step is to deploy this so that I can actually activate it. I'll deploy it to my environment. We see here preview what will happen. This will be created. I confirm. And what deployment actually does is activating this extension and bringing it live on my system. This more or less concludes the journey for creating the extension end-to-end and actually getting it to at least to a test environment and later into a production environment from the persona of somebody closer to the business. But if I go back to what I mentioned about true side-by-side extensibility, I can also start this journey here from build. So now imagine I'm somebody closer to the developer side of things. So I'm closer to the developer house of the company. And I have the task given to me by some business process owner or by my manager to create such an extension. I'll do just a quick devtober demo 2 here, just to show you how the event discovery that Milan mentioned actually works here. So I have my process, right? And I know I want to consume some events. I go from the build lobby to the event section, and I already see here my events being available. That's because we just went through the journey from the SuccessFactors. But if I didn't have them available here, what I needed to do was click create. And this is the screen that you have from the screenshots to discover what events are available either on the Business Accelerator Hub side of things, in my specific landscape, or upload my custom event specification if I have a custom application which is not yet deployed. If I go here to my landscape, I see my specific SuccessFactors systems here. And if I use this one, again, I see only the events which are available on my system and enabled for me. So I don't see any other data here. And if we click here, the onboarding process, navigating step by step, again, we see here the list of all the events, and we see personal data collection completed, initiated and completed, yes. This is all it takes to discover. And we see here a preview of all the data that is available within the event and all the headers that come with it. But okay, I have discovered events, I have them prepared. How can I model my process? I create a simple process. I would call it developer demo. As soon as I do that, I'm presented with a blank canvas of the process. And the first thing I need to do is define how I start my process. This means adding a trigger. I select here wait for an event. And I'm presented with all the events which I just now curated and have prepared for use. I can search here. And we see personal data collection completed. I click add. Give a name to my trigger. Saying, let's say, data collection completed, event received. Click create. And that's it. I mean, now we're at the starting point where we saw landing from SuccessFactors directly here. The rest of the journey is more or less the same, so I won't repeat it. Okay, so we went through the admin persona. We enabled all of this event discovery and system connectivity and event flow. We went through the developer persona from both sides of the house, closer to the business or closer to the development. What is the next step? The next step typically is monitoring. What I'll quickly show is the project that we recently deployed here in my environment, the DevTober demo project. Here it is, deployed just now. And we see here a list of triggers, and we'll see personal data collection completed for Devtober, coming from Devtober demo. And for the sake of finishing this end-to-end scenario, I'll just open this in monitoring. What we'll see here is all of the processes started via this event. Now this view should be empty because we haven't started anything yet. If I go to the SuccessFactors system, now I'll jump into the shoes of an HR person actually doing the onboarding for an employee, so that we see how our onboarding process is really extended. So what I'll do is add a new hire for onboarding. Let's enter some test data here. And the hire date I'll put today. For company, let's select the USA division. And my hiring manager, let's see what users we have here available in the system. Doesn't really matter. We have a new hire. Okay, and clicking initiate onboarding. Okay, I used this user already. So let's use another persona. And again, put the hiring date for today. This is a new hire based in the USA, and their manager is John. We initiate the onboarding for this employee, and now I'll quickly jump through the data collection process. Unfortunately, so not unfortunately, but that requires quite a few data to enter, but I'll skip most of it for the sake of the demo, just so that we see everything end to end. Okay, so we added the new hire. So I'm switching to onboarding, and I will list all the employees that have a start date for today. We see our user here. We see that we have an overdue task because the person is starting today. We need to collect the data. So we need to finish that up. So we see here, requires data. Let's start that. If we, while we're waiting for the screen to load, okay, it's ready. I'll switch then a little bit later to the monitoring. Skipping most of this section. Let me quickly check. Yes. I'll continue to the next one with personal information. So we have here, we have an address in the US, since that employee, I need to select an address type. They have their home address in the US. Now we have to enter some data for the job. Let's say we have a standard schedule. Sure. Yeah, why not? And we have I think that should be sufficient. If not, the system will notify me. Holidays. Of course. This is, I think, unless I missed something, probably the last piece of data that I needed to enter for the demo. So what this will now do is when I click submit here at the bottom, this will finish the personal data collection step. which means that SuccessFactors will emit a personal data collection completed event, which will reach build process automation and will start an instance of our process. So I'm clicking submit here. I have collected all the data, and now we will see actually our extension in action. Paperwork has been updated, and if I go back here into the monitoring view, this is in monitoring process and workflows. I have my project already pre-selected as filter. If I refresh here the data, we should see a process started soon. Of course, during a live demo, something always breaks. Let's give it a few more seconds. Nobody's immune from the loss of live demos. Let me play around with the filters a little bit, but yeah. I will try to remove the filters just so that we can see if we can find some previous processes which were done using the same process and approach. And we see here this one, the project is named SBPA Event Hub Demo, but this was from a previous demo done a few days earlier. This is the same thing. So we see here a process being started, in this case also being completed. And we see the process being started from an event with type personal data collection completed with some of the employee data. And of course, this data is usually not enough. The process will have to maybe call back to SuccessFactors, to enrich the data a little bit. All of that is already available, again, to consume directly from the process modeling view. With that, let me switch back to the slides. We saw the demo. So what was demonstrated? We've shown the seamless connectivity. I mean, nowhere did you see in any of the steps in the demo any technical configuration being done to connect the systems. All of that was just adding them to a formation. And this is available out of the box, no credentials, no management, no rotation, nothing. And all of this is enabled and facilitated by SAP Cloud Applications Event Hub. This is the backbone of the event exchange. Then we saw easy discovery of existing APIs and events, and maybe here to underline APIs a little bit. All of the steps that we saw for events are also possible for discovering APIs from attached systems. And we saw how you can do that in SAP Build with just a few clicks and discover what events are available in your specific systems in your landscape. We also saw the how a customer admin in this case can control the data flow from the Event Hub UI. I mean, sure, all of this could be enabled by default, it could be disabled by default, it could be enabled on demand only for specific systems, for specific extensions even, depending on how your landscape works. And we actually saw how we can do all of this from both sides. I mean, from the developer point of view, starting from SAP Build, or from the process expert point of view, starting from SuccessFactors. With that, Antonio, I think we're ready for questions now. Do we have anything in the chat?
Excellent. We've had a couple of messages in the chat, that's for sure. Some questions were very relevant to what you were showing. So yeah, let's go through them basically. So one of the questions was, I actually answered some of them, but let's go through them. So one of the questions is, do we still need to provision advanced event mesh, for example, to integrate S/4HANA events with SAP Build process automation?
I would say it depends. It depends on for S/4HANA Public Cloud. No, I mean, it now supports Application Event Hub, and SBPA also supports Event Hub, so you can leverage this out of the box. You don't need to provision advanced event mesh. But if you have it, if you have some more advanced scenario with more event filtering or more complex event routing logic, you can still continue to leverage advanced event mesh. And actually, give me a few seconds to go back here to a slide. This is part of the plant innovations also for Event Hub to bridge this out of the box as well.
Correct. That was actually released, I would say, not even a month ago, something like that. Yeah.
Something
So
brand new.
yeah, it's fresh out of the oven. I haven't even played around with it. I haven't configured it myself, but I know that it's there, so I can play around with it. We should probably do a session about it. Yeah, and you know, even S/4HANA private cloud now it's possible. It's only for the S/4HANA pure on-prem that, for example, you will not be able to leverage, for example, Cloud Application Event Hub. So that's something to take into consideration. Another question was regarding custom events. So if we can use Event Hub as a broker for custom events, I did answer that as well. But I guess if you can share something with us regarding custom events in SAP Build Process Automation.
So for custom events, I think I need to go a few slides back actually here. Oh no, just a second. So for custom events here, basically you can model anything you want. You can do that. The only real requirement, and this is not only from Build Process Automation, but also from Event Hub, the events need to be compliant with the cloud events specification. That's the only requirement that you need to follow. As long as they're valid cloud events, they will be recognized by SBPA. You can model them in SBPA, and as long as they're cloud events, Event Hub will transport them happily.
Correct. That's very true. Like I've even tried sending a random JSON as an event, and it just rejects it straight away. You know, like it will not even receive it. So, but it needs to comply with the cloud event specification. So yeah, so that's something to take into consideration. There is another comment from Akash about the procedure is not working for S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. So Akash, there is an SAP note for it. I'm trying to search for it, but I don't find it, unfortunately. But I know that there is an SAP note about S/4HANA Private Edition and Cloud Application Event Hub. So do search for that because I know that there is like it is mentioned in the documentation, but also like there is a specific. Actually, I just found it. It depends. It depends very much on the version. I'm going to share it on the chat so you have it. It depends very much on the version of Private Cloud Edition that you have also. Like, but at least I know that here in the note that I shared. It includes the version for 2023, so all the details are there. How to access the object, for example, via the SAP GUI and what you need to do there. So yeah, do check that out. But it is something possible. Yeah, and those are all the questions that we have. So yeah, you know what? I just want to thank both of you. Christian and Milin for sharing your knowledge and expertise as part of this session. Really interesting to see how SuccessFactors seamlessly integrates with Cloud Application Event Hub and other SAP Cloud applications, right? I want to also highlight that if by any chance you are attending SAP TechEd, being in Berlin, Bangalore, or Australia, do check out sessions around this topic because there will be some sessions around it, some hands-on workshops, or even just sessions, you know. So do check it out. Also keep an eye on the SAP samples GitHub repository because once TechEd is around, then there will be some repositories that are available with the hands-on workshops. So even if you're not able to make it to the in-person event, do check it out there because at least you'll be able to see the exercises and that will give you a good idea and a good understanding of, for example, what you'll be able to achieve with these services, right? We have just a comment from Barbara. Thanks a lot for sharing and for the live demo. Thank you. Thank you for attending, Barbara. And also thank you to all the viewers for attending this session. And even if you're watching the recording of this session, thank you very much for making it this far. And just a friendly reminder that there is plenty for everyone to learn during the TOEFL. So do check out other sessions that are part of the event. Whatever topic you're interested, it could be CAP, RAP, integration, obviously our favorite topic, but also AI, machine learning, whatever it is, there's something for you there. And with that, I just want to thank everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.